Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Learning to Live. Rashida and I are here again, and today we're going to talk about surviving coronavirus quarantine when you have OCD and how family members can be supportive of those who have OCD during coronavirus quarantine. So I'm just going to let Rashida take it from here.
Well, you were going to ask me questions.
Yeah, well, of course I'm going to ask you questions, but like
Giving
the first thing,
yeah, I don't think so,
you
bro.
know,
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. So first of all, tell us, what's it like? It's scary for all of us right now with the worry of getting the virus and contamination and just being aware, wearing our mask, washing for the 20 seconds and everything. But we've been through extensive therapy. You had OCD for a significant amount of time, and we're making some progress.
Yeah.
And then the virus came.
Yeah.
So kind of like just tell our audience.
Well, the positive. Let me start with the positive.
Yes, that's the way to go.
The positive.
She listens. She listens. Yes.
The positive aspect of this is that now I can say there is actual threat. There is a virus.
That is not positive. It's not. Because this is a sickness, and you know that. Oh man, are we gonna have to cut this?
But in my head,
yes,
I see things that other people don't see.
Whoa, that's a whole different.
No, not like that. But with the OCD, I see germs.
Yeah.
And danger that other people don't see. So with the virus right now that's going on, if I tell him to wash his hands 2 times, he doesn't talk back. He doesn't. Before it's like, oh, my hands are clean, I got it.
Well, this is the positive.
Yeah, that's the positive. So now him and my son both listen to me without talking back. So I have, easier time.
All right. No, honestly, let's talk therapeutic.
So, well, as everybody knows, OCD is a disorder that, there are a lot of descriptions about it in textbooks, but the way that I experience it is that it's a disorder that makes you question your actions, at least the one that manifestation of how you have it. Of how I have it, because it manifests itself in so many different ways. So the one that I have is the one that makes you question everything that you do. If I wash my hands, my brain will tell me, no, you did not wash your hands. Even though I'm seeing the water dripping. Okay,
we're going to roll a quick clip here, and you can see exactly what she's talking about.
Yeah. Are we doing it?
Yeah, doing great.
Are we counting?
Doing great. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Rashida. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Rashida. Happy birthday to you. Okay, so that's your maximum. We can stop now, according to science.
Yeah, just a little bit more.
No. We're done. We're done. They look nice and clean. All right.
Clean.
Yes, very clean. Fresh and clean.
One more second. Just one more.
All right, we'll do half.
Yeah.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Rashida. Happy birthday to you. Okay, you're done.
I'm doing it, right?
You're done. Did it. Yes. Your hands are fully clean.
Okay.
Fully clean.
Okay, I just did it. Hands are washed. A lot of bubbles. A lot of soap. Okay.
Perfect.
Thank you.
So now that we saw that,
yeah,
you see how she washes and washes and washes, and this happens hundreds of times a day.
Well, let's not exaggerate.
It does
Okay,
happen
let's not
100. If I don't stop it,
Okay,
it
hang
happens
on,
hundreds
no,
of times
no,
a day.
It doesn't.
It does.
Maybe 50 times.
Oh, okay.
Okay. But it makes me, my brain kind of does not register the fact that I'm washing my hands. It questions it. It's like, I'm fighting with somebody, inside my head telling me, you haven't washed your hands. And I'm like, I just did. My hands are wet. And not only my hands, but even sometimes, with laundry, with cleaning the dishes, with if I go somewhere and I think that someplace is in my head filthy, dirty, sometimes I have to wash my clothes or his clothes 7 times, and then sometimes I have to throw those articles of clothing. Sometimes he doesn't know what he doesn't know. Where's my favorite shirt?
Where'd my shirt
I don't know,
go?
maybe, oh my God.
Where'd my jersey go?
You left it at work. It's gone. So it's not easy that I, have to constantly reason with my brain and say, so it also teaches me to be mindful. And when I'm washing my hands, some people, when you don't have that disorder, you take it for granted, like, la, 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 and then your hands are washed. With me, it's like, okay, I'm washing my hands. I see the soap. It's, I got to be mindful.
Yeah.
If I'm not mindful, then the questioning will start. And as soon as the questioning starts, it's really hard to stop it. You cannot stop it. It's just, that's it. You're done. You have to be. So then I enlist him, even though he stays away and like tries to give me my space to deal with it, because it helps me like that sometimes. But I have to call him and say, hey, can you please come and watch me?
Yeah. So what is the most helpful? Like how do we, for those, because I know there's lots of people out there that suffer from OCD, and there's spouses that want to be supportive, and and that's the hard thing that I have to weigh lots of times, is how much do I need to help, and how much am I actually feeding into your illness? And I think that's one place where the coronavirus has kind of got us stuck, because we do all need to wash our hands a significant amount of time.
Yeah.
And I think before we were kind of making progress where you were, having that mindfulness and being able to realize and tell yourself, okay, I did it. I can step away.
Yeah.
Where now, because of the demand for everything being clean and washed and staying away from the virus, it has changed things significantly.
Yeah. So are you asking me specifically about the coronavirus and OCD, or just the OCD?
I'm asking you right now, within the coronavirus. There's if you have OCD, then totally there needs to be therapy for you and your family members.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Okay, which we've done.
Yeah, to some extent.
But within the context of the coronavirus, things changed. What we learned, listen to your therapist, do what your doctor says, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But with us, just kind of advice that during this coronavirus pandemic, it's kind of caused other variables, because there is a threat.
Yeah.
So how can significant others be supportive of people that have OCD without going back on those like therapeutic things that they've learned?
This is not a normal time. We're going through something different. First of all, I would advise anybody who has a family member who's living with OCD, you will need a lot of patience. This guy will tell you. A lot of patience and a lot of understanding. If I'm washing my hands, for example, for 2 minutes or whatever, if you are standing there watching me like a hawk and say, oh, you did it, that kind of, it interrupts my mindfulness. So now I have to deal with you and say, just don't do this, stand there, or like go away. So that kind of interrupts my mindfulness. And then there is thoughts that like flooding into my head, and then wash, and so then that would even exaggerate my anxiety. So unless I call you and say, hey, can you help me, you still gotta give me my space, especially if let you use the skills you've learned, especially to make it through, especially if I'm going through one of the episodes, because some days it's okay, some days it's just too much. So if I'm having one of those episodes, just let me deal with it, know that I'm dealing with it. But if I call you and I need your help, you have to listen to me. Because normally, if you remember, I always tell you what I need you to do.
Right. Yes.
I normally tell him, hey, can you count to 20 for me? Or I'll say, hey, can you just watch me? Can you just stand there? Sometimes I just need somebody to stand next to me while I'm dealing with something. So don't just say, oh, well, just listen to me, which you really are, amazing, like, sometimes. So, but just listen to me and just do what I want you to do, because otherwise things will get worse for me in my head.
Okay. So that being said, for like the people that are being supportive of people, where do you think the line needs to be drawn that, because this, OCD does have to do with learned behavior and kind of, when it's obsessive and compulsive. Okay.
Yeah.
When does it come to the point where the person who's being supportive isn't being supportive? Where does it step over into that edge where they maybe need to say, okay, you did it? I understand with you, sometimes you just need me to observe and then I step away.
Yeah.
But you said sometimes your brain still won't do it.
Still won't do it.
So as a significant other, how can we tell people out there, and everybody's individual, please listen to your spouse on this.
Definitely. And listen to your doctors, listen to your counselors.
Yeah. We're not trying to paint with a brush.
Yeah. It's just our experience.
And we want other people to know that, it's a work in progress for us.
First of all, we don't know whether or not OCD is caused by learned behavior. We don't know that. Sometimes some people say that if you see a brain scan of somebody with OCD is different from, a normal brain.
Right.
I don't know. I am not a scientist, but some people say it's a learned behavior. With me, I think I never had any brain damage. I think with me, it could be something that was triggered by some sort of a trauma that I went through.
Yeah.
And then it was maybe a way of coping with what I was going through at that time. And so I learned just to control what I could control, because I wasn't able to control other things. So mine could be some sort of a learned behavior, but we really don't know, specifically. Where, coming back to your
my question. So how do you, when you're the significant other and it's continually going on and you got to get to a point where you say, okay,
So with me, I don't know how it could be different for others. So with me, because I don't trust my brain does not trust my brain, so I trust him or my son. I trust them. So when they say, if they tell me, hey, you've been washing your hands for the last 5 minutes, and it has to be kind of a cooperative work, because I also have to, it's like I'm telling my brain, okay, look, I'm washing my hands. I'm washing, and the brain saying, nah, you're not washing your hands. It's, something else is happening. It's like, look at the water, look at the soap. I'm washing my hands. So those days when mindfulness doesn't work, but I'm still practicing mindfulness, and I call you or call Elias, and you come, and I'm like, hey, watch me, and, let me know when I need to stop. And you tell me, hey, you're done now. I could tell my brain then, hey, I told you I wash my hands. And then I have a second opinion here, a witness that is also corroborating and saying, yes, she did. So then I can go, because I did it mindfulness. I did it with mindfulness.
Right.
And I also asked you,
Does that help the next time you go? Can you then use that? I don't know how this works, but then can you use that the second time sometimes and say, okay, now I know I did it exactly the same. I don't need the witness this time because I was okay. Sometimes.
Yeah, no, some days I don't you know that. Some days I don't call you, but it's like sometimes, some days you fall into some sort of a black hole that you cannot, climb back up alone. You need a helping hand. So those are the days that I need you, but no, it does not transfer to the second. If I have the same episode the next day, I'm not going to say, he was there. No, it has to happen all over again. I would still need you. I would still need you to tell me. But if my mind is not there, and I'm not also paying attention to what I'm doing, and you're just telling me, oh, you did, I won't listen to you. If also when I'm washing and I'm being mindful, if I see you playing on your phone, you watch it, then it won't count. You gotta be with me, and I gotta be with it. And some days, what do I tell you? I'm like, I can't trust you if you're not paying attention.
Right.
Because then the next time when I call you, my brain's gonna tell me, oh, this one's a liar. Remember, he wasn't watching you? He's a liar. Do not listen to him.
So how is it, you know, kind of just to summarize, I mean, because I don't think you meant it, some people might take it wrong what you said, it was positive because now it's real. Like, I know you didn't mean that. So how has it legitimately changed with the coronavirus?
Well, with the coronavirus, to be honest, it adds to it.
Okay.
You know what I mean? It
has made a difference.
Yes.
It has made your brain go, wow.
Yeah.
There's one more thing.
There's one more thing.
Yeah.
That I have to deal with now. But with this coronavirus, because this is only, you know, it's my experience, right? When I'm going through with my stuff, nobody tells me, hey, if you touch that, wash just your hands 5 times, you know, whatever. But with the coronavirus, you know, there are experts, there are scientists, there are doctors. So when they tell you use the soap, I'm laughing.
Yes, yeah, I see where this is going. Now, so that in your brain makes it even that much more. Now the experts are saying it too.
Yeah.
It's not just my brain that's misperceived things.
Exactly. So it's like now, okay, it's out there. It's gonna get us. You know, my goodness. You know what I mean? So it makes it even harder.
Yeah.
You know.
So for people that, like, you know, obviously listen to their therapists and everything, but like what's kind of a summary of things? Be mindful.
Yeah. Be mindful. You know, know that this is a disorder. It's not like, and this is, I'm just talking about me, okay? I don't want anybody to say, well, you know, it's not, or the way I see it is that my brain is a little bit damaged. Right? Because I when I'm washing my hands like 7 times, you know, within 10 minutes, I know it's not normal. You got to realize that, you know, the first thing to, you know, dealing with some sort of illness is knowing that you have something that is not, if you have asthma, you got to realize your lungs are not functioning as they should.
Right.
You know, and that you need an inhaler, and like that you have to stay away from smoking cigarettes. And so the first thing with this is you got to realize this is a disorder.
Right.
You know, and knowing that when I call Dustin and say, hey, can you watch me washing my hands? And he says, yeah, you washed it. I trust him because I know he doesn't have that disorder. He might have a lot of other things.
A lot of things.
But he doesn't have that, you know. So then I trust that because I know mine is a little bit defected in that sense.
And we all have our own issues for sure.
Yeah.
But seeing that I'm off in this area.
Yeah.
And sometimes I need assistance.
Absolutely.
Is the road to wellness. Is the road to wellness.
You have to realize that. You just cannot say, oh, you know, I'm just a clean person, or I'm, you know, eccentric. You have to know it is a disorder. And some people might say medications work. Some people might say, you know, counseling works. Some people might say behavioral modification therapy.
Behavioral modification.
That works. You know, with me, I never tried medications, but I tried everything else. It came down to the fact that I have to deal with it, that I am in control. I should be in control, and I should be able to deal with it. You know, if somebody loses a leg, you know, they, you know, learn other ways to move, right? To whether it's being on a wheelchair or, you know, you learn to cope with certain things, you know.
And the thing is you were doing much better before the coronavirus.
The coronavirus, yeah. And one more thing that I learned from a counselor is that if you have this disorder, or if you have other anxiety, know that they don't have to suffer. People that you love, like, do not extend it. Like I used to do that before. I used to say, hey, you know, do this and do that, and like I made their lives a living hell, you know, because
not really.
They're not. Okay. I'm the one who's dealing with it. They don't have to deal with it. You know, if my son comes from school and like he washes his hands, but he doesn't take a shower right away, it's not his problem that I'm like icky about the fact that he's not taking a shower right away, or like washing his clothes right away, or, you know, and sanitizing his school bag right away. It's not his thing. It's not his problem. It's my problem. If I want to, sanitize his bag, then I should not yell at him about that. Like that counselor told me to contain that within my space.
Yes.
Do not let the other people in the house also deal with your issue, because they will be prisoners.
Yeah.
And in their own home, right? And another thing, if you have children and you have OCD, there will be days that maybe here and there you might lose on them, if they do something like, something that you think is really dirty, if they touch, like if you have a toddler and like you take them out for a walk and then they touch something dirty and then, oh my God, you have to always remind your children that that's at least what I did, and that what worked for me is reminding them every other day, hey, mommy has this issue.
Right.
Right.
Sometimes so they don't internalize.
So that they don't internalize, so that they don't learn to question, because this disease makes you like in my head, like I have to question things, all the time. And then I question him whether or not he washes his hands, and then I question the other guy, then I question I don't want the child to grow up. I didn't want my son to grow up questioning himself. Sometimes our world is a little bit harsh. He later on might run into people who might question him and say, oh, you're not good enough. I didn't want that voice, my voice, product of my OCD, to also corroborate what maybe his boss later on or somebody else is telling him, hey, you don't even do this, So I always told him since he was 3 years old, hey, mommy had this issue. It's not your problem. Thank you for
so important.
Coping with me. Thank you for, I'm sorry, that I sometimes, if I ask you to wash your hands 3 times or whatever, it's not your problem, know that, and then thank God he's such a good son.
Yeah, he's amazing.
Such a wonderful boy.
As you guys have
seen.
So
later on, because I kept on telling him that it's not his fault and it's not his issue and that it's mommy's situation, he would tell me, hey, when he sees me washing my hands, he's like, oh, hey, mom, are you having an episode today? And I'm like, yeah, sorry, hon, like bear with me today. And like he learned, and because of me right now, he wants to be a psychiatrist. Yay! That's one good thing that's coming, that came out of this situation. Yeah.
Yeah. But no, it's awesome. And I think you made some great points. So I think like probably for takeout from this video, what I think, just kind of summarizing that, if you're suffering from OCD, it's vital, especially during this time, be mindful.
Yeah.
Find those ways to be mindful and live in the moment and see, what you're doing so you can kind of combat those,
Yeah, pay attention to what you're doing when you're having your episodes. Pay attention and even tell yourself as you're doing something, just tell yourself, remind yourself and say, hey, I'm washing this right now.
Yeah.
That helps a lot with me.
And the next thing that I think is vital is realizing that compartmentalization, that it is you.
Yeah. And
that it's not others.
No.
That takes discipline.
Yeah.
But it's very important, especially in these tight quarters, that is taken on, and that you realize that this is
your issue.
Yes.
And others should not suffer.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's your battle.
Yeah, it's your battle.
It's your struggle.
Yeah. You should not enlist other troops to fight your fight.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, that being said, if you are someone, if you are someone who's supportive, be supportive as
and
much as possible.
Extremely patient.
Yeah.
Listen to what the sufferer wants you to do. Like sometimes they just want you to stand there. Sometimes they might even want you to wash their hands, for them. Just listen. And if you feel like this would agitate you, or you have some sort of anxiety, or just say, hey, honey, I can't help you with this. Why don't you call, if you guys have children, or, because if you go there and then maybe become agitated or you lose your patience, then it will trigger the person who's, having the OCD episode. It will trigger them more. At least that's how it works with me. I don't know how it works with other people.
Yeah, so, and then also sometimes if you snap, then I know that Rashida anyways then has that guilt of, oh, I snapped and I shouldn't have snapped, which then kind of cycles down into other things.
If I snap.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I think that
which I never do. I'm an angel.
And then I think the last highlight that she said that we kind of summarized here, but I think is really important, is that aspect, especially if you have children, but even with spouses, is letting them know, I'm aware this is my issue, because I think sometimes when that compulsiveness comes out, it comes out in a way that it almost feels aggressive towards your loved ones. If you're not being accountable to that and letting your spouse and your child know, this is my struggle, this is my
battle
issue, it's not yours, cause relationships to be compromised at points, and you never want that, because that, like Rashida said, I mean, look at what a great thing, her taking accountability and letting Ilias know from a long way, from when he was little, that this is mommy's issue. Okay.
Yeah.
It's real to mommy sometimes, but this is her issue. It has nothing to do with you. It's not that you're messing up. This is mine.
Yeah.
Caused him to then be able to be supportive of her.
Yeah.
And now even want to be a psychiatrist.
Yeah.
So, there's a lot of positives that can come from that accountability. So, like I said, I think the mindfulness, the compartmentalizing, realizing that it's yours and yours alone, that there's spaces that, okay, maybe you can do this, but it can't broaden out and take over your life either.
Yeah. And also,
and then thirdly, I think that acknowledging this is mine and it's no one else's fault to your loved one.
Yeah. And adding to that is, you got to also realize, like, if somebody has an OCD or other disorders, you have to realize, like, everybody is dealing with a situation, whether or not they talk about it or they ask, help for it, or, you cannot burden others, and make the house be exactly, what you want it to be, or have them act a certain way, or put their clothes or fold their clothes in a different way. They have their own issues. We're human beings. We're all
and this ties into everything. I mean, my anxiety goes out the roof, and and coronavirus quarantine hasn't helped. You guys saw my video about being furloughed and ruminating and worrying about all those issues. We all have our own that we have to be accountable for, and the focus of this is OCD, and I thank Rashida for being candid enough to share, and a lot of the reason she does that is because she really has a passion for helping others and letting other people know that this can be functional. You can even almost thrive within this. You can learn ways that as a team we can get there.
Yeah, I mean, you should be able to thrive. I mean, at the end of the day, as I said, everybody's dealing with something. Yours should not be more important than the guy who is going to work and semi-blind, and like, you're not the center of the universe. Of course, you should, with everything that you have, you should, strive to be prosperous with anything that you have, and know that, you're not the only one. If my husband doesn't have OCD, but as he said, his anxiety, like, I have to be sane for him sometimes. Like, with my OCD, I have to go, okay, OCD, sit over there. We have a pressing.
We got to deal with the anxious guy again.
So you got to know that you are not special, in the sense that what you're going through is not bigger than that. Everybody's dealing with something.
Yeah. And
keep that in mind and be empathetic.
And that's why we put this channel together. It's kind of like those, let us do the talking. We're tired of just like sitting here listening to a bunch of talking heads and politicians and media people like tell us what life's about. Like, people know what life's about. You guys know what life's about, and jumping in and having this channel be your channel. So hopefully we can share together, and you can make some comments and ask questions, and like together we can grow.
Tips too, like, if there are people who have ideas we can benefit from, like maybe you guys could tell me how to deal with my OCD better, or it would be appreciated as well.
Yeah, this is a relationship, you guys, and we want to learn from you too, and grow, and we just thank you for tuning in. And like we always say, do you have anything else?
No.
You would like to add?
No.
All right.
Hold on enough. Yeah.
All right. Like I always say, be strong, be brave, be courageous. Please subscribe to us. Click the bell. Keep tuning in. Have those comments come. Thank you so much for your time, guys. Have a great day.
Have a good one.